Hello, good morning to all. Hope you are doing well.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So just we start our session. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to the technical session 3B. I am the Riddhi Gohil, moderator of this session. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 7th International Conference on Information and Communication Technology for Competitive Strategies through Zoom. I hope you will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive session throughout the day. In this session, we have 8 presentations and each presenter will be given 8 minutes for the presentation and the 2 minutes for the question answer. So kindly request to all please stick to the time limit, that is 8 minutes. On 7 minutes, I will raise a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants stay connected with us till the closing remark. If you have any query and update, please let me know in the chat box. Just before we get started, I would like to introduce to all our chair of this session, Professor Ritu Bhargava. Hello ma'am, I welcome to you the session.
Hello, good morning everyone. Thank you so much, Riddhi, for giving me the opportunity to chair the session of today's international conference. I wish good luck to all the presenters today who are going to present their paper and looking forward to have a good conversation with them. Thank you so much, Riddhi.
I'd like to give some introduction about you ma'am. So Professor Bhargava has over 19 years of experience in teaching in the field of computer science and engineering. She completed her PhD from Hemchandracharya, North Gujarat University, Patan. She is a life member of the Computer Society of India, member of SEM USA, member of IEEE USA, and also she has over 30 papers published in the reputed journal including IEEE and Scopus. She is a keynote speaker in the international conference conducted by Swinger, IEEE, and also published 8 books. Okay, we would like to invite our first presenter.
Thank you so much, Riddhi.
First presenter is Shashank S. And paper title is A Novel Approach for the Enterprise Hospital Management Application with Full Stack Development. Yes, Shashank, you may please start your presentation.
Yes, ma'am. I shall share the screen. Ma'am, hope the slides are visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
So, good morning, one and all. So, today I'm going to present my paper, that is a novel approach for the enterprise hospital management application with the full stack web development. So, this project was under the guidance of Dr. G.S. Mamta. She is the professor and associate dean for the PG studies from the Department of Information Science and Engineering, RV College of Engineering, Bangalore. So these are the table of contents, that is the brief introduction, literature review, problem formulation and objectives, design, that is the high level and the low level, methodology, conclusion and outcomes, and the results. So when it comes to the brief introduction about the electronic medical records, so what we usually see is that when we go to the hospital, there will be a prescription which is prescribed by any of the physician or the doctors, but that will be of the paper format. Suppose if there is a person who doesn't care about the papers, and suppose if he forgets to take that paper whenever he is going to the hospital, then that will be difficult for him as well as the patient as well as the doctors. So for this reason, there is a term called electronic medical record, which is the digital version of the traditional pen and paper based medical record. So, and in this medical record, computerized physician order entry, this is one of the models of the electronic medical record, where in which each and every detail of the patient is recorded, that is in the digital format. You might ask, like, what is the advantage of using the computerized physician order entry. So whenever we enter into the hospital, right from the registration to the discharge of the patient, everything will be monitored or captured in the computerized physician order entry module. So this will be, depending on the hospitals and also depending upon the recovery rate, we can use this model. And also this is the flagship standalone software product that is still being developed. And also the goals of this project is to eliminate the medical record. Suppose there is a doctor whose handwriting is not understand by everyone, so it might lead to some of the differentiated medications, and also improve the patient satisfactions. So you might ask how this might improve the patient satisfaction. So in this electronic medical record, we can integrate all the medical devices, and also the connected care can be integrated to this electronic medical record, and also improve the patient safety as well as the quality of the care for the patients, and also standardized patient care delivery. So these are the goals of the project. And also when it comes to the review, so this is the first paper: improving the digital hospital transformation, development of an outcomes based infrastructure maturity assessment framework. So these are the key attributes that are defined in this paper. Especially this clearly defines the 164 individual capabilities. You might ask, what are those 164 capabilities? In the sense, suppose in the enterprise application, that is especially with respect to the large hospitals, there will be a n number of medications or n number of the treatments associated for the particular hospital. So in that case, they have divided all the 164 capabilities. Suppose if I want to give the examples, chemotherapy, gynecology, and several cancer treatments, and also the various modules that can be defined in an hospital. And what are the challenges or the attributes that they haven't described is that they does not take into the account of the financial implications. So in this framework, so they haven't mentioned anything how they are going to deal with the financial aspects of the the particular framework. And also the next paper is achieving HIMSS stage 7 designation for the EMR adoption. So HIMSS, this is one of the standards that every hospital is going to achieve. Suppose we have ISI standard mark for every commodity that is going to be sold out in the uh, Indian market. So this is the HIMMS standard that is being given to the hospitals, and they have defined the 7 maturity models in this paper, but they haven't taken into the account of the JCI. JCI is the standard certification, that is the Joint Commissioner International. This is one of the non-profit organizations that is going to give the certification for the all the hospitals. This is being commissioned for the European Commission. So, and the next paper is the relationship between the hospitals, electronic health records maturity, and the excess readmission. So what does this paper gives us is that hospitals should not compromise on the adoption of the newer technologies. Many a times there since the change is the only constant in this technological world, there are various numerous technologies that are being developed, and also the various use of the artificial intelligence, and also the PAC systems, which are the older versions of these electronic medical records, are not introduced in several of the hospitals. So the challenges that these paper addresses is that does not take into the account of the hospital cash reserves, same like the financial implications. And also the next paper is that finding relationship between the requirements for the healthcare information systems used in the hospital system. So a study on the EMR. So EMR RAM stands for Electronic Medical Record Adoption Module, and the JCI. JCI is the standard Joint Commission International. And these maturity models regarding the HIS is the Health Information System in the healthcare settings are not comprehensive, and they lack the details which are required for the, whenever the patient registers or likewise. So due to the limited number of the available specialists, they considered few of the hospitals, and they did survey on that. So based on that survey, they have given that available specialists only are of 40% that are agreeing with the JCI requirements were validated. And also the next is that electronic medical record data for research in the healthcare information and management society analytics and EMR adoption model. So they also conducted some of the surveys, and these were the results, and the frequency was 0.1 times per person, that too for the an year. So due to this, the challenges is that due to the information confidentiality, most personal health information related, they haven't disclosed anywhere. And also the next paper is that interoperability and considerations for the standards based exchange of the medical images, that is HIMMS and SIMM collaborative white paper. And also the key attributes is that
Yeah,
gender.
Shashank, sorry for the interruption,
Yeah, ma'am.
but you are running out of the time.
Yeah.
So please.
I'll move to the next one. So by going through the literature survey, I mean the papers, these are the research gaps that I found out. Computerized physician order entry with the clinical decision support, they haven't mentioned anything regarding this one. And also some of the information is still collected and shared using the pen and paper based documents. And some EMRs are not interoperable. So by the term interoperable in the sense, so some hospitals have introduced some of the models, and the other hospitals have introduced some of the EMR models, though so they cannot interoperate each other, or the portability makes the biggest difference in that. And also the technology enabled medication have not discussed privacy and the security aspects, disaster recovery, and the data analytics. These are the major things that are
Excuse me, Shashank.
yes, ma'am.
Would you directly come to the methodology part?
Yes, ma'am. So this is the high level design in this one. So we have considered using of the model view controller, wherein which the model deals with the business objects, that is the data that is being stored for the entire patients, and also the controller which acts as a mediator between the view and the model layer of this architecture. So view in the sense the whatever the user interface that the patients or the doctors or the end customers use it. So in this we have used the technology of the Angular and also JavaScript for the queries, and also for the model layer we considered using of the PLSQL because of the stored procedures and also the high quality of the data. So this is the high level design of the electronic medical records. So this is the at the basic level, this is the landing page wherein which the registration and all the other informations are being collected. And also the template maintenance whenever the patient comes to the doctor, so they have to maintain certain templates that are being used in the different hospitals. And also medical record writing, so whenever they are diagnosed or whenever the doctors diagnose the patients, that will be entered here. And also the log query, so every patient will be given an unique ID, and also their entire data will be monitored. And also the suppose if they are given a certain medications that are to be taken on a monthly basis, that will be monitored in the log query. The system configuration, suppose if the uh, uh, any of the medical devices is being integrated with the electronic medical system, that will be monitored here. And also the medical record query, suppose if you want to query any of the medical devices or any of the patient's history, we can monitor here. And this is the class diagram of the electronic patient chart. And this is the use case diagram for the patient's record management and also the prescription. So this is the ER diagram of the electronic medical records. So this is what I explained previously, that is the model view controller. The reason why I used MVC pattern is that since we need to have a decoupled architecture, that is the only reason we used MVC over here. And also these are the tasks mapping to the objectives. So implement the user-friendly interface for the client, and also implement the queries for effective handling of the user data, and also have the better accuracy and also efficiency. And also effectively handle the functional request by implementing the scripts as well as the RESTful API services. So these are the conclusion and also outcomes. The application is a standalone system that reduces the human efforts and makes the process easy and assist in managing the entire workflow of the organization. And also this is significantly reduce the human errors as well as keeping track of the patient data, pharmacy, and also various hospital equipments, and also supply chain management also. So these are the results, but these are not implemented yet, but these are made using the Figma. And this is the dashboard that we have planned for implementing. So and also when it comes to the one particular patient, this is how the diagnosis would be implemented. And when it comes to the future scope, the use of the voice assistants and also the language processing techniques such as voice modeling can help in speeding up the data entry, and also the search process. Advancement in the accessibility helps reduce the time per patient when it comes to the blind patients as well. So this will increase the accuracy of the monitored patient data. And also some of the hospitals would like to use the cloud technologies as it can replicate, and also the data can be of the, when it comes to the security of the data, it will be good as well. So these are the references that I have used. Thank you.
Thank you, Shashank.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your paper, the concept of your paper is really nice.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would like to ask you, what is the motivation of writing this research paper?
Ma'am, suppose uh, last 2 months ago, so there was an incident, especially one of the celebrities. She was especially, diagnosed, and also she got the treatment for the dental, but that is
Mm.
indirectly affected for the, mental health, and also uh, she became bit ugly.
Okay.
This was because of the mainly prescriptions, and also this especially the EMR, whatever I have mentioned. So this can be, suppose if you create the medical record once, and that can be passed to the any of the doctors.
Okay.
Suppose if I have a prescription and I cannot carry wherever I want, this can be, done by sitting it at the home itself, and also we can consult the doctor anywhere. It can be passed to the surgeons, or it can be passed to the any of the doctors or the physicians. And also this can be integrated with the any medical devices.
Okay, like?
Suppose take the MRI scanning or the X-ray scanning, likewise many of the medical devices.
Okay.
There will
So
be
are
an
you, yes?
there will be an interface engine
Hmm.
that connects the electronic medical records to that of the any of the machines that are used in the hospitals.
Okay. So have you started means using this program, or any samples you have taken for that?
Ma'am, it is still under the construction, so need to
Okay.
implement, because it involves a lot of modules, and also need to check with the
Hmm.
doctors as well, because
Yeah.
whatever the data we need to collect from the doctors, and also whatever the data they need. So there is a
Okay.
lot of interdependency, so that is why it's a bit difficult.
Okay. Thank you, Shashank.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shashank, for the presentation. So our next presenter is Adarsh Nair, and the paper title is Air Quality Index Prediction of Bangalore City using various machine learning methods.
Hello, good. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Please let me know when you can share my screen, when you can see my screen. Uh, can you see my screen yet?
Yes, yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, so my project title is Air Quality Index Prediction of Bangalore City using various machine learning methods. This is done under the guidance of Ms. Sangeeta Kare and Amrita Thakur of Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore. So, like the brief introduction is, what is air pollution? It's a very serious problem in the present times. It is the pollution of air by various particles and other methods and other pollutants. So, in 2019, 1.67 million people died due to direct or indirect causes of air pollution, which is almost 1/5 of all the deaths throughout the country in the city. It affects all living beings, including plants and animals. So AQI or air quality index is a measurement used by governments to convey the level of air pollution. It varies from country to country, and each country has their own way or method of measuring of calculating the air AQI. And it's done by calculating concentrations of pollutants over a specific period, and the formula used vary from country to country. So since air pollution is one of the most serious problems in the present times, and Bangalore being one of the most popular or densest cities in India currently, knowing the factors and which pollutants are at the forefront of the AQI and in turn air pollution can help us focus more on mitigating those pollutants and therefore bringing down the levels of air pollution. And so I'll keep the literature survey brief, but there have been similar but not the same works done in Taiwan and using other models, but not the ones which I have covered in this paper. It's also been done in California and other places as well. So I've implemented 8 models throughout the entire project, namely support SVM, linear regression, decision tree, random forest, adaptive boosting, XGBoost, stacking ensemble, and ANNs, artificial neural networks. So I'll go into very brief statements about the 8 models itself, as each of them has their own benefits and also the disadvantages. SVMs can be used for both classification and regression, and the risk of overfitting is less in SVMs because of generalization built within the model itself, but it doesn't perform too well in the presence of noise, and therefore the accuracy may reduce. Linear regression, on the other hand, is quite easy to implement and interpret, but the problem is there are certain assumptions built into linear regression, such as independence and like no correlation between the attributes, which if found false will give you a very, very incorrect model. Decision tree is done by breaking down the dataset into subsets and further subsets and giving you a final tree at the end, but it could overfit in some cases and may also, especially in the terms of regressions, it tends to overfit. And random forest is an ensemble method, which is a bagging type method, which is used for which takes multiple decision trees in all parallelly and trains all of them, and uses, in the case of regression, gives you an average result for each of the trees. This reduces the problem of overfitting, which may be found in decision trees, but it could take long training periods, and the interpretability is less than that of the other models. Adaptive boosting is a boosting type where one model is created and then the output of that is fed into the next one, and so on. The errors of the first one are fed into the next one, and so on and so forth. And it is less tendency to overfit, but the problem is a very high quality data set is required, as even the smallest amount of noise and outliers can throw the model completely off and can give very bad values. XGBoost is also a boosting type model, ensemble machine learning model, but it is generally faster and also more resilient to noise as compared to AdaBoost. It also has more hyperparameters which we can use for improving the accuracy and tuning it even further to prevent problems such as overfitting. Stacking ensemble is a method which uses two or more models to create a new model. So it uses two base models and then one. In my case, it uses two base models and one meta model to get the output. And first, the base models are trained, and the output of that is used in the meta model. And so the meta model works on understanding how the two base models can be combined to give you the most accuracy. It is high performance, but the interpretability is very low, and you can't understand how the system works as it's all done on the website. ANNs or artificial neural networks are computation models based around the functioning of our brains and the network of neurons found in our brains. There are layers of neurons formed with connections between them, similar to how neurons in our head works. It is.
Sorry for interruptions.
Sure.
But sir, you are running out of the time, so please.
Go first, please. So basically, in the implementation, first I did data collection. It's from the CCR website. I got among all the 10 stations in Bangalore, I checked the data availability, and I found that most of them were empty for over the period of 10 years. Like some only started collecting 5 or 3 years before. So I chose the one which had the most data availability, which was BTM, conventionally, and PNIA. And it had a data set of 21 parameters, and depending on the AQI formula used by the government, I used only the bulletins which are required. So only 7 were found useful for finding out AQI, but PM10 and ammonia among the datasets were found to be very scarce, so it couldn't be used to find the AQI reliably. So I aggregated the 3 datasets and found the missing values using averages among the 3 datasets, and then the AQI values were found using the formula given by CPCB. So for the evaluation of each of the models, I use 3 metrics, which is
Excuse me, Adarsh.
Huh?
Please move to the methodology directly, because we are running short of time. So I would like to know about your methodology.
Okay, so I split the data set into 70-30, and then I trained and tested the models. I tweaked the hyperparameters accordingly for each of the runs. And this was what was found for, like, once I finished processing each of the models, these are the metrics which are found. It was found that the XGBoost and Stacky Ensemble perform the best for R-square and RMSE, and in the terms of MAE, it was found that decision tree and random forest perform the best. So these are the ones which can be used going forward for prediction of any models, if for the prediction of AQI if required. And since decision tree, random forest, and linear regression can show feature importances, I've also plotted those. And from this, we can find that carbon monoxide, closely followed by PM2.5, have the most feature importances, whereas ozone and sodium dioxide have very less importance as compared to the others. The same is also seen for random forest. So in conclusion, we found that the best performing models in the data provided were XGBoost and Saggy Ensemble, and also in the and also decision tree and random forest if mean absolute error is what we're looking for. So if any prediction is needed to be required, we can use that. And since carbon monoxide has the highest importances among the 3 models which importances are available for, I highly recommend that steps are taken to mitigate the effects and also concentrations of carbon monoxide to reduce the AQI, the reduce problems caused by AQI. And for now, I've only used the data from Bangalore, and from all parts of India could be used for the same. And I've taken daily data, as in one reading per day, and or 8 hours or 12-hour averages could be performed for a more definitive value of how it changes throughout the day. These are the references I've used. These are the ones which I've mentioned in literature review, but there are others as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Adarsh, for a very much needed research on the air quality topic of Bangalore. So the
Okay.
nice research you have done, but I wanted to ask you the models which you have created, which data analysis software you are using, like models you have
I
already
also
put
work
in.
with
Yes.
the one which I worked with was Python.
Okay. But Python language you have used
Yeah,
for data analysis.
yeah, like all for analysis and also the models. For both, I used Python and I got the data directly from the CPCB website.
Okay.
For data cleaning, analysis, and the model building, I use Python because that is what I'm most comfortable with, and so I decided to go forward with that.
So what is the sample size of yours? The data which you have
The
collected?
sample size is around 3,600. It's a PDF. It's a daily data for 10 years, so around 3,660 rows.
Okay. So you must have also means find out the hypothesis also. You've written the hypothesis also for this. What is the hypothesis which you have used?
Hypothesis.
Hmm.
I haven't written a proper hypothesis as such. It was mainly to find out which of the pollutants were causing the most,
Just let
which
me
is the
know
pollutant.
if you would have means you would have to apply the hypothesis. What hypothesis will be um, using in this multilinear regression? You have constructed this model.
Multilinear, okay. Multilinear regression is independence between variables mainly.
Yeah.
Like because most of the coefficient, the pollutants aren't directly related to each other. So,
Okay. So hypothesis you have not written.
I haven't in the slides here.
Okay. Thank you, Adarsh.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Adarsh.
Thank you.
So there is a one request to all. Please follow the time limit. That is 8 minutes. So don't waste your time in literature review. Just say only research gave and describe about your main work, right? So our next presenter is Shreya, and the paper title is an application for privacy preserving contact tracing and the public risk assessment using blockchain for COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I'm
Good
Shane.
morning.
I hope it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me start. Hello, all. My name is Shreya. I'm a student from BIT College, that's Bangalore Institute of Technology, pursuing MTech. So I took a paper for the application of privacy preserving and contact tracing for the public risk assessment using blockchain for the COVID pandemic that is happening. I would like to thank of the ICTCS for providing me this opportunity to present the paper today. What motivated me to take this is all the COVID pandemic things that we're going through from the past 2.5 years. We were all very scared to come out of the house. We didn't know what to do, what was happening to the world as well. So to come to the analysis of what COVID-19 was, how can we protect ourselves and the people surrounding us, it became a very crucial thing for everyone to actually do the research and come to a conclusion as this method is better for us to prevent and be safe. So to come across that, many technologies came up, many solutions came up, but nothing was stable. Like even if we take any apps that is released by government, half of the time, at least we will be facing server down issues, or we won't be getting the correct data. Even though my neighborhood is actually affected with COVID, I opened the app, it always showed me green, telling that I am in the safe region. So that is when it struck me an idea where I can actually provide an app which is completely dependent, 100% reliant. So anyone can actually open the app and see whether they have come in contact with any affected person, or they have maintained themselves safe when they enter the public area. So that was the main motivation where it led me to take up this paper. I chose blockchain for this. Two main reasons. We all know blockchain is a serverless architecture, so there won't be any failures of servers that we see, or the app will always be up and running. The second main reason is, regardless of what we store in blockchain, it's always safe and secure. No one will be able to hack it, or they will be able to change any of the data that is stored. So it's like once we store any data in the blockchain, it is done. If we have to make any changes to that, that changed data will get stored in a new different block itself. There won't be any editing possible. And blockchain provides numerous other technologies, that is encryption, decryption, making sure that the authorized person only can access it. Since we had all the benefits, I thought, why don't we combine the technology with the situation that is occurring? So the basic structure of blockchain will have a header, index, nonce. Nonce is the number of the block, where we can actually get to know. Since we don't know which block to pick up, we will need a block name or a block number. So from that, we can get to know from the nonce. And every block, as and when it is created, there will be a time that is stored, including the hours, minutes. So whenever the date that block is got created, so that the next block will get to know what number it has to take and what data it can save. So every block, it maintains its own hash value and the previous hash value, so that it acts as a linked list. And when the person is trying to fetch, that block can redirect to its next block, or it can be fetched from its previous block. Literature survey, what I went through was 20 papers, where I got to know that not exact app or technology was built which was 24/7 available, without any server low, or without any hanging, or even reliant information. Like I said, though I was surrounded by people who were affected in my area, but still when I opened the app, it showed me that it was in green, telling me that I'm 100% safe. So this limitation will not be available in the app that I tried to develop right now. It is a web application where the admin will be able to use, and the users will have an Android application for the tracing, especially for the GPS tracking. So the existing system, what I got to know is the app is not 100% reliant. And even when, if only we have to know that we have come in contact with only when we get affected, we got to know that, okay, maybe we might have come in contact. That's the reason we got affected. So that was the only way we could actually analyze, since there were no dependency, or there were any information where we could fetch it from. So the problem statement that I got is to design and develop a platform which is actually efficient enough, and it can preserve all the information that we have provided, any medical records, any medical treatments that we have taken, including the prescription, can be uploaded to the blockchain. And the admin, that is the doctor or the receptionist, depending on the hospital, can just log into this web page, click on the patient's name, and all the details will be available there. So clicking on the links, they can access it. So the proposed solution was to use the blockchain for privacy and tracing, and to make sure that the GPS only dependency over here is in the Android app, where the patient's GPS tracker should be turned on throughout, so that we can track the location. As in when an affected patient is trying to violate the boundary, that is to stay in the area, like we tell the doctors advise us to stay inside our house. So we can actually give in our house location and make sure the patient is going only inside the house and not outside. So once he goes outside, an email will be triggered telling that you're violating. So that is when we can, the same message trigger will be gone to the doctor or the admin that is using also to let know that the patient is not following. So the nearby area, that is the surrounding area of 1 kilometer I've kept as of now. The message will go to them also telling a person in your area is affected. Of course, we won't let know who is affected because that can lead to the confidentiality between the doctor and the patient. We'll just send a message telling that a person is affected and not following the rules. So please be careful when you're going outside. So it will be an alert for the others as well who's gone in that area to know that as and when there is someone violating, they can actually choose not to go around for next few minutes unless and until they feel free and confidence enough to go outside. So the architecture, the main two interfaces are the admin interface and the patient interface. The admin interface is a web page from the blockchain that it will be taking. So this web page has a general information of the admin, the login, the password changing options. Main thing is the patient storing details where all the patient details are stored, including the age and the email address, contact number. And he is linked to the GPS tracking of the Android app basically. So once the patient downloads this Android application, all he has to do is for the first time, he just has to log in. There will be a start and stop button. Make sure that the GPS tracker is on. Click on the start button and leave it for about 30 seconds for the location to get traced. And then he can stop and leave the app. There is not a necessity after this for him to open the app anytime. All he has to do is just keep his GPS location on, tracking device on basically. And then wherever he's going around, we just request him to take it along with him. But nowadays we all know whenever we move from any place, we make sure that the phones are carried up with us, regardless of the reasons be it. So admin, what he can do is as and when the patient is affected, we know the duration of it to get completely resolved is 14 days. That is when a patient is got positive results. We tell for the next 14 days, please take a strict actions, make yourself completely isolated, come in less contact. So all these things we can actually track from the tracker that has been placed in the blockchain. Now, why I chose blockchain is this tracker, because we are tracking the patients. Once it is stored in blockchain, no other person will be able to alter it or change it. So we will get 100% accurate. This accuracy is up to 25 meters. So as in when the hospital and the distance increases, the accuracy is gone a little down. So maximum is up to 25 meters accuracy. I was able to get it. So the admin can actually take a track of it as and when he tries to violate, that is the 1 kilometer area. And the triggers will go to the concerned persons so they can alert themselves and they can make sure that they're not violating unless and until they're completely cured. So the algorithm that I mainly focus.
Shreya, sorry for the interruption, but you are running out of the time, so please.
Sure. So the algorithm that I mainly used is for MD5. Why I choose MD5 is because it takes up to 5 and 2 digits to encrypt the data. So regardless of the message size, it will add the additional payload, making it a 5 and 2 bit, and then it will encrypt and decrypt. So once we tell it is a 5 and 2 bits, the encryption also becomes complicated and even the decryption becomes complicated. So there won't be any man in the middle attacks and the data will be secure. That will be covering my privacy preserving and data security. So the block updation algorithm, it is just going to take the user's location and get it updated with the block where Euclidean distance is made use of here. And for integrity check, we make sure that the hashes produced by the MD5 are the unique hash values. So none of the hash values repeated. Every block will have a different value to be stored in it. When I saw the results of encryption and decryption, encryption was taking more time because as and when the data increased, the encryption also took a little more time, but the decryption was almost, it remained constant. So regardless of how much data it was storing, the decryption was quick enough, but no one could do a man in the middle attack of any changes. It was completely secure. So through this, my outputs will be that the throughput, as and when it increased, the throughput was reducing, which is a very good result. And because the throughput was reducing, latency is completely dependent, like indirectly dependent. So latency started showing increasing results, which is expected. So regardless of data that we stored, the system was always up and running. The future work, what I can suggest from my project is I could only make it for a single hospital. If only we were able to bring it into different hospitals, interdependent of the application, it would be fine as what I got to know. So this web application, I was not able to transfer it from one hospital to another hospital. Suppose my doctor is working in one of the hospitals today and he ends up going for a visitation for some other. He was not able to access my records in the other hospital because I wasn't registered there. So the reason that I see for the future work is making it interoperable throughout the hospitals. And the references, I took it from the papers, that is from 2020 till 2022, and other open source websites that was available. Thank you so much for your opportunity. And I really thank ICTCS to provide me this time to give a presentation on the paper that I had idea on.
Thank you, Shreya. I appreciate your work. The paper is really very nice, and you
Thank you
have
so much.
explained, and the work which has been done by you, it's really recommendable,
Thank you.
commendable. And I would like to ask you, like,
Yes.
you have developed this app,
Yes.
So
Yes.
is this app working right now?
Yes, it is working.
Are people using this? Is it available on Google
It
Play
is.
Store?
No, unfortunately, it is not available on Play Store. When I tried to release it on Play Store, they actually asked me to pay a little because it's the paid version. So
Okay.
for the other participants, it will be a free version. But for me to release it to Play Store, I was asked to pay amount, and the amount was a little hefty, I can
Oh,
say. I am a
okay.
student and I couldn't afford to get that. So what I was looking forward is to get some startup companies to tie up so that they can fund a little and make it helpful for the people. I'm in the
Right.
research process right now so that someone I can collaborate and help.
Yeah, right. That's a
Yes.
good idea. You can find some good funding agency, or you can write the proposal to the Department of Science and Technology, or some AICT project also you can take.
Yes,
And
yes.
scientist B or C, if you could have, if you can search on the net, there are
Yes.
some scientist, women scientist programs. You can go through with
Okay,
them. They
okay.
also fund.
Oh, definitely, I'll do. Thank you so much for this
So
information.
it's a
I
woman
was
scientist
looking.
A, B, and C.
Okay.
You can check the DST site. So they
Yes,
can also fund you for this project, because it is helpful
definitely.
for the society also. So I
Correct,
wish
correct,
that surely you will
correct.
get the funding.
Yeah. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much for
much.
this information.
Thank you, Shreya.
Okay, our next presenter is Akhilesh Kumbar, and the paper title is Application of Machine Learning in the Data Science in Healthcare Industry, a Survey.
Good morning, everyone. I'll just share my presentation in a bit. I hope my screen is visible at the moment.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. So, good morning to my fellow presenters and the chief guest for this morning session. So basically, our survey paper title is Applications of Machine Learning and Data Science in Healthcare Industry. Basically, through this paper, we are trying to explore what is AI, what is ML, their relationship with the healthcare domain, the challenges they are currently facing with respect to healthcare domain, the AI/ML applications, some of the AI/ML applications which are being used presently in the healthcare domain, and their challenges. So let's begin with our presentation. So the first slide will go through some terms which I would be using frequently throughout this presentation. So the first term being artificial intelligence or AI. Basically, I would say it's a broader domain in computer science which deals with making smart machines or building smart machines. So let's say that humans
we are intelligent creatures, right? So we can write, we can read, we can dance, sing. So basically, what if we make the computers or our devices to do these things for us? So AI covers all these domains which require human intelligence. Basically, it's a broad domain which consists of machine learning, deep learning, robotics, and automation, to name a few, these fields inside it. So you can say these fields are like subsets of AI. Machine learning, ML, again, it's a subset of artificial intelligence in which we use these models, to learn and improve on their own to do a specific task without having to explicitly program them to do so. And then we have so the data which is required for a training purpose or for analysis purpose. So we basically like deal with respect to the medical data, we deal with the real world data. What's happened is that because of how the health records have been digitized over the years, they have increased. So the amount of real world data which is available at the moment has also increased. So when I speak the term real world data, what I basically mean is all the electronic health records, then the product and disease registries, the insurance claims, the medical claims, the data pertaining to it, and all those devices which monitor our health, the smart devices, the smartwatch, for example. So the data containing inside these devices is referred to as the real world data with respect to the medical domain. So what happens is that if we use the real world data as sources for these AIML devices, which uh, others build for variety of applications. So these data can be like made as sources of data for these devices. So when I say like with respect to the significance of AIML in the medical field, what we can say is that the healthcare facilities are generating a significant amount of data. So for example, a patient is repeatedly going or visiting a certain healthcare facility. So his or her data would be with that particular healthcare facility, right? So their name, their age, their sex, their previous medical history, all these things are nothing but data. So to have a proper usage of this data, like to be helping to like, let's say all this data is in a structured format, but again, see, we need some insights from that structured format of that data. What we can use is AI/ML devices or AI in general. It helps us, giving a proper direction to this data so that we can properly use this data or gain insights from this data for a particular treatment per se, as per the data, whatever the data might be. So AI/ML helps us providing that insights about those data points or records per se. So what also happens is that then we can also the healthcare officials can plan the treatment accordingly, analyze the transmission rate, and predict the future, like how a particular disease is transmitting over a local group, and then we can have a blood analysis or urine analysis, all these things, or contact tracing, as the previous presenter had spoken about the COVID-19 tracing. So even that can be helped using AI, and also the hotspot detection. So for example, like a few of the papers which we gone through during our literature survey, we came across a paper which said that they were using artificial neural networks like LSTM to predict cardiovascular diseases. or to, to determine what is the root cause of specific headache. So those were the examples where deep learning is being employed in healthcare industry. So when we speak about real world data and the relationship with AI, so as I said earlier, real world data basically refers to the electronic health records. And these are getting somewhat generated in a large amount in throughout these years. So because of the digitization of the process, earlier they used to, like write case papers or such, like have a written documentation of the records of a particular patient or a group of people. So now the same thing, due to the advent of cloud computing and all these data are being transferred into digital or electronic sources. Plus, people using smart devices, smartphones, smart watches, they also track your daily activity and basic the biological data of a particular person. Their breathing rate, their heart rate, and all these things, they are being collected and stored in their respective databases. So what AI can do is, using this as a source of...
I'm sorry for the interruption, but you are running after the time, so please.
Yes. So what AI can do is like help using this data or the previous data. It can help us identify some new drugs, and improve the existing drugs or targeting capability, and also even developing new drugs for that matter. So these are the few of the AI/ML applications in the healthcare industries, for disease diagnostics and detections, chatbots, process improvement. So in diagnostics and detection of diseases, we could say that few of the companies like SigTuple or Only Dog or Libret, they are using AIs for their medical examinations or medical analysis. For example, at the time of the survey when this was conducted, SigTuple was using an AI system called Manthana. Basically, they used to like analyze the blood smear and digitization of the blood, urine, and sperm samples of a particular patient. And then to deliver a virtual support and diagnostics remotely, like without having to like go to the hospital itself, the companies have been like able to deliver these reports remotely from the comfort of the home. Like the patient could technically get those reports from these systems. So for the process improvement, let's say like now these are the services which we use, like to book a movie ticket or game ticket as such. Similarly, there have been online services in which now people are able to find doctors, store their medical data, or order medicine online. So all these things are being like employed using machine learning itself, like to, because see, you're inputting a data and all that, these are repetitive stuff. So the repetition gets cancelled out by employing machine learning because it's increasing efficiency. And then so there is also the case of proper utilization of hospital beds. So now even machine learning is being used to design for a proper bed planning and management to anticipate the rate of patient admission.
Akhilesh, sorry for the interruption, but kindly please stick to the time limit.
Yes, ma'am. This is the final slide. I will just conclude it. So for the last application here, so the what has happened is now many large hospitals are using chatbots to book appointments for the patients. Like patients can now use chatbots. So these chatbots are now designed in such a way that they can interact with the patient, they can collect some basic facts or basic medical history about the patients and the symptoms of the patients. So all that the primary work of the doctor is now being carried out by the chatbot itself. So now all the doctor can do is, based on the data collected by these chatbots, they can now directly go on to the point and suggest a treatment as such. So the present challenges has been since there are lots of patients coming in, there has been a significant load on healthcare systems and equipments. COVID-19 pandemic being the best case scenario example for this particular thing. Then again, the healthcare data is being generated in large amounts. And then there has been issues with producing optimal insights at digital making stage. And then again, due to data privacy laws and other privacy laws, there have been legal issues with the integration of such AI/ML systems in the healthcare. So thank you.
Thank you, Akhilesh, for the presentation. I would like to ask you one question. Like, could you please summarize your key findings of your research paper just in few sentences?
Okay, so ma'am, if I were to summarize the key findings, I would say that the data which has been generated over the past few years, mainly because of the digitization of these health records, has been like only few of the companies or few of the countries have been able to utilize the potential of that data, and they have been able to deploy such machine learning or AI applications in their systems. So I would say that the overall conclusion of the paper would be that even in India, a few of the companies and startups, they have been able to provide solutions, AI/ML solutions, like for the medical analysis and diagnostics purpose and all that. SIGTuple being one of the examples. So I would say that even in India, there has been not like that amount of digitization done. The research conducted was like based upon a few of the Western countries where they have the availability of the computing power and all that stuff. So I would say that there is still scope for AI/ML applications to be fully developed in our
the
country.
healthcare centers.
Yeah, for
Healthcare
the
industry.
healthcare centers. We
Okay.
just need a standard template for the implementation, because you could see that even for a taluka level, there are certain hospitals which they follow their own template of storing a data. So even I would say that a particular standard must be followed when we are storing data for medical purposes.
Okay. So when you were looking, so you did survey on these papers. Did you find any limitations, like this format is not proper? Like as you just said, in some talukas, there is some format is there, and each one has to follow the same format for the digitization of the data. What limitations you have encountered with?
Ma'am, mainly I would say that the papers, while doing the literature survey, I would say that they mainly dealt with the existing data sets, ma'am. Like uh, most of the real world data which is there with respect to the research done, only few of the companies were able to utilize the real world data, but the other papers were mainly like focusing for the research base or the analysis part of it. So I would say that these were one of the constraints I could find in those papers, and also the mention of the legal restrictions.
Okay. Thank you, Akhilesh.
Okay.
Thank you, Akhilesh. So we're moving forward to our next presenter. Sorry, Anjali Rokde, and the paper title is a float parameter extraction from retinal funds image in the diagnosis process of retinal detachment.
My screen is visible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, all of you. Myself, Miss Anjali Arun Rokde. I'm currently research student in MGM University under the guidance of Dr. Naneshwari Patil ma'am from MGM University. So my today's presentation topic is float parameter extraction from retinal fundus images in the diagnosis process of retinal detachment. So this is the index, that is introduction, abstract, proposed methodology, related result, conclusion, and references. So retinal detachment is a disorder of eye in which the retina is separate from the underneath. The detachment retina is very serious and painless, and unless the retina is attached soon, the permanent vision may be the loss. So this is the anatomy of human eye. In this, the retina is placed here, and retina is composed with the 10 layers. When all layers is detached, then we can say that the retina detachment is the disease. So abstract for this paper is that in this paper, I try to extract one feature of retinal detachment, that is the float parameter. So that in this paper, I work on the STARE database, which is having the 400 fundus images, and I do some pre-processing work in a MATLAB. In this, I will study about the histogram analysis of normal eye and retinal detachment eye. Also, we compare the healthy retina with detached retina by using the float parameter. So this is my proposed methodology. In this, the first is I will take the original image from STARE database. After that, I convert that image in the histogram analysis for extracting the features. After that, I convert the original color image into the grayscale image. After that, I will again calculating the histogram analysis for that. And then by using some thresholding method, I extract the feature of retinal detachment. So this is my proposed methodology. In this, first is a histogram analysis. In this, I will take the one image from STARE database, that is the retinal image. Then I convert that image into the histogram for analysis or extracting some features. After that, I convert that color image into the binary format and then calculate the histogram analysis for that gray color. But by using this method, I can't extract any feature of retinal detachment. So I use the thresholding method for extracting the feature. By using the thresholding method, I convert that image into the binary format, and then I will get one feature, that is the float parameter. If the float is present in the vestigious gel, then we can see that this is the retinal detachment image. So I will work on the 50 images in the STARE database. This is the comparison between the normal eye and retinal detachment eye. First is a normal eye. After that, I convert that image into the histogram analysis, and then I will use the adaptive thresholding method for extracting the feature. So first image is the normal eye, and second is the retinal eye. Retinal detachment eye. In the second image, there is a float. The float, if the float is present in the retinal vitreous gel, then we can say that that retina is the starting phase of retinal detachment. So I do the practical work on the 50 images in the STARE database for extracting the float parameters for understanding the retinal detachment. The conclusion in this paper, we study related some methodologies. By using that, we can try to extract some features of retinal detachment and also use the histogram analysis of normal eye and retinal detachment eye. Also in this study, we compare the healthy retina and detached retina by using float parameter. And for the future work, we try to find the other parameter related to retinal detachment. This is my references. Thank you.
Anjali,
Yes,
this is the best paper with a quick presentation.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Of today's. So Anjali, I congratulate you for writing such a good paper, and you have written that you have taken these images and worked in MATLAB software.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Could you please explain about it more?
What, ma'am?
About MATLAB, what you have done, you have taken, I think, 50
Yes, ma'am.
means images of the retina.
Yes, yes.
And so how you have cleaned them, how you've made them noise free, and what is the outcome you've received? So I
Ma'am,
wanted to.
this is my
Yeah.
pre-processing work.
Yeah.
I take one paper as a base paper. From this paper, I will currently this is my first paper in this PhD program. In this, I first read about the histogram. I will get the knowledge from what is the histogram, and after that I use the thresholding method for adaptive thresholding method for extracting one feature. But currently I am not getting the threshold value, what exact I want.
So this is so it's a very good research.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anjali.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anjali.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our next presenter is Alena Basan. The paper title is Improving the Efficiency of High Performance Free Space Optical Communication Channels in Various Weather Conditions.
Hello.
Hello.
Just 1 minute. Hello, my name is Elena Masan, and today I present our paper improving the efficiency of high-performance free space optical communication channel in various weather conditions. This is a table of content of my presentation, and the first is introduction. The system based on optical communication channel have become a technical revolution in free space communication. In our study, we analyzed the possibility to use the optical communication channel in a group of unmanned air vehicles. It is necessary to propose a method that will extend a distance to transmit an optical signal and provide its quality the same throughput the transmission. The optical communication channel are struck by many natural factors and that worsen them. At the same time, it is more difficult for the attacker to disrupt the optical channel, and it very attractive technology for cyber physical system, for example, for OAPs. The development of wireless communication laid the foundation of new high-performance methods for data transmission. The first one classic and simplest option for using the transmitting and one receiving antenna is shown on this figure. In terms of terminology, such system is called SISO, single input, single output. VCO system using CISO signal transmission is more sensitive to atmospheric attenuation due to the weather influence and interrupt due to the hurdles such as birds and insects. We decided to analyze how different weather conditions influence on the optical communication. The biggest problem for implementing free space optical communication is weather attenuation, which occurs due dispersion and uh, absorption. Um, for example, on this slide, we can see an equation which about attenuation for the it's a general question for the attenuation for different weather conditions and attenuation in the fog. In this study, we consider fog as an accumulation of particles of vapor, water, smoke, ice, all together. At the same time, it's one of the main reasons that degrade the quality of data transmission over the optical communication channel is the information of fog. And on this slide, you can see an for equation for attenuation that dependent on the range of visibility. Attenuation in the rain. The attenuation in the rain is depend on the radius of the uh, um, of the raindrops, and as a result, the laser can pass through raindrop particles with minimal scattering effect. The model used to calculate rain attenuation depends on the speed of the rain and the number of the raindrops and their size. Attenuation increases linearly with increasing rain speed. Attenuation in the snow generally larger than raindrops and introduce attenuation into the optical signal that is greater than effects of the rain. In addition, the size of the radiated and accepted signals is affected by the size of snowflakes and the wrecks of snow. And we on the in the simulator we developed the better a model of visual system which based of MIMO technology. The branching components is used to generate multiple laser beams from a single source. Each laser beam created after branching corresponds to another branching component. And we analyze the difference between CISO and MIMO technologies. And as you can see on this slide, under the fork, the MIMO technologies is better because the transmission path is higher on 33 and 60%. Also in rainy condition, MIMO technology shows the better results, and it's allow to pass the signal to 8 meters, and it's better on 63% than CISO technology. And under the dry snow condition, newer technology increased the rates of transmission path by 35%. And on this slide, you can see comparison between CISA and MIMA maximum transmission length under various weather conditions. The obtained results demonstrate a significant improvement in the use of proposed system compared to the traditional CISA system for free space optical system. However, proposed system can transmit signal over greater distance with better quality in weather condition. It's achieved using MIMO technology. The MIMO technology use created redundant transmission paths that help overcome obstacles, while the technology DWDM allows to improve the possibility of increasing number of the transmission signals. In the conclusion, unfortunately, despite that the MIMO technology allows to transmit signal over the higher distance, but there are another factors which could influence on this system in case of using in groups of OR. For example, it could be at the same time that several OR tasks are essential, which should be performed the radio mode of silent. In future, it's planned to simulate optical communication channel in vibration condition and hustling of wind, because this parameter, this condition could influence on the quality of communication and channels. Thank you for your attention. That's all.
Thank you, Elena. It's a very good paper you have written, and I congratulate you to write such a valuable and worth research paper. I just wanted to ask you one question. Which is your best paper on which your research is based on?
This research is based on the problem. There is a problem that radio channels are not good for the groups of OAFs because the radio channel are physically unsecure and could be interrupted and could be attacked by different ways. And it is a very big problem. They use a radio channel to communication. But the FSO channel is less influenced by attacker, and but we should analyze is this channel suitable for the love groups. And first problem for PSO channel is a different weather condition which influence on it. And in our research, we based on investigation of analyzing influence of different weather conditions on these channels. And we try to improve the current models of FSO and give better results. And we have a good results, but we don't test this system on the real models. And
Okay.
in the future, we will try to and design such model for UAV and to test it.
Thank you so much, Elena.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. So next presenter is our Pranati, and the paper title is Monitoring Urban Growth Using Land Cover Classification.
Yes, ma'am. Elena needs to stop sharing so that I can present.
Yeah, there's I stop.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. Good morning to respective dignitaries and my fellow presenters. I'm Pranati from Velagapudi Ramakrishna Siddhartha Engineering College, Vijayawada. Our paper is titled Monitoring Urban Growth Using Land Use, Land Cover Classification. So land use and land cover is nothing but understanding the physical surface of our earth and how that land is utilized for various social economic activities. So this understanding LULC changes will help us in our future studies regarding a variety of global phenomena such as droughts, climatic conditions, floods, etc. So for getting this detailed LULC maps, we have used Google Earth Engine, which is a free open source cloud-based platform, and it uses huge amounts of remote sensing data and provides high computational speed at the same time. Motivation behind this is urban sprawl or urbanization is one of the potential threats in today's world. Because it is happening in a very uncontrolled manner, which results in depletion of our natural resources. So we need to identify this urban sprawl by using this LULC map so that proper steps will be taken towards a sustainable development. These are some of the literature surveys that we have done, and the first paper will be focused on classification of LULC changes in Kolleru Lake, Andhra Pradesh. So it is basically tells us about the man-made activities that has affected this natural ecosystem, that is the Kolleru Lake. And the following papers will tell us how the Google Earth Engine platform can be utilized in order to observe these changes. So there are other remote sensing platforms like QGIS, etc. But this Google Earth Engine has like an inbuilt JavaScript API where we can run our scripts. And so these papers will tell us the features of utilizing those functions. And our objective is we need to first import these multispectral satellite images from the Landsat 8 satellite for classifying our urban area. The urban area is our Vijayawada city that we live in. Then we need to understand the topography of our study area so that we could accurately place the training points. Later, we do a change detection. So we compare these LULC maps in different time periods, and we will project the changes. Later, the outcome will be these LULC maps with higher accuracy. Then the data set is Landsat 8 Surface Reflectance Tier 1. It was maintained by USGS. And it could be, since the GE has huge amounts of raster datasets available, we can load this dataset directly into our script in GE platform. It is available since 2013. So this Landsat data satellite has been taking the images of Earth since 2013 to till today. And it has the following bands. RGB basically are the main bands, but I have utilized all of this in order to improve our accuracy. The proposed methodology is, first of all, the auto-rectified images with the least amount of cloud cover will be loaded into our Google Earth Engine. Then the dataset Landsat surface reflectance, we perform some pre-processing techniques on this, we write a function for a cloud mask function to remove the cloud shadows and cloud covers, and we remove any polluted pixels from the data set. Later, we apply, the entire stack of satellite images will be made into a singular image using a median filter. And then this NDVI and NDWI indices were added so that we could accurately place the vegetation and water training points accurately. Then the training process begins. In training process, we take 5 land cover classes. One is cropland, other is water body, bare soil, built up, and shrubs. So we place the training points for all these 5 land cover classes and use random forest supervised classification technique from the classifier package available in GE. We perform accuracy assessment and compare the LULC maps. So the procedure that I have just explained. So the changes over the time period of 2016 to 2020 were highlighted here in our results. So we could see that in 2016, for example, the built-up area shown in red color in 2016 is slightly less when compared to the year 2020. So these kind of rejects will be projected in LULC maps. And we have, see, these are the 5 land cover classes that we have considered. This value, we obtain it by doing the pixel area, applying the pixel area function on cropland for the year 2016, we get the value. And again, we applied for the 2020, so we get these values and we are projected in this bar chart. So we could clearly observe these changes, and it is like this. In between, the ground truth data was also collected in field study in order to predict whether our classifier is correctly classifying the pixels correctly or not. So the results are for the year 2016, the area of cropland was like 7.71 square kilometers, but it was reduced to 4.97 square kilometers in the year 2020. So there's like a decrease of 35.41% in the cropland, and similarly, the percentage decrease in water is 17.2%, and built-up area have shown an increase of 19.27%. And again, these values might change if we could get more accurate maps. So for our 2016 map has shown an accuracy of 0.5%, and 2020 map was more accurate. It is 91.7%. The kappa coefficient for the 2016 is 73.36. So which means that classifier was able to overcome like 73% of the errors. And for 2020, it is quite good. It is like 88.15. We have taken the study area, the total area of our study area is like 57.46 square kilometers. So we were able to obtain accuracy more than 80%, which is quite satisfactory, but our future study would be more focused on implementing different classifier techniques available in GE to get different view or different more accurate and detailed maps. The results were like quite shocking. Even in the time period of 4 years, we have seen such drastic changes in the urban area. So these results need to be projected, should be taken to the town planners and make them take steps towards a sustainable development. So these are the bibliography that we have used in our study, and thank you, ma'am.
Pranthi, a very good initiation you have taken. This is really needed. Like this study is going to really help to the town planners. So
yes, ma'am.
You should take it forward so that we can have a sustainable
yes, ma'am.
thing, right? So it's a nice paper, Pranthi. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
So our next presenter is Sanket B. Suthar, and the paper title is a segmentation of Gujarati handwritten characters and the numerals with the and without modifiers from the scanned document.
Yes. Good morning. I hope you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
So good morning, everyone. My research title is Segmentation of Gujarati Handwritten Characters and Numerals with and without modifiers from the scanned document. So these are the 4 authors. All 4 authors are present in the presentation today. The contents are the overview of OCR, the significance and the domain of the OCR, workflow that we are using and following for the Gujarati character segmentation as well as the recognition, then how we do the character segmentation, then extracted characters, how we store and look like. And then we also propose one CNN model to check the results of our extracted characters and to check whether that CNN model is working properly on our character data set, generated data set or not. So generally, optical character recognition is a system where we are scanning the documents and we are converting it to an editable form. So we can store it for the future purpose and for also the editing purpose. And so that reason, these are the steps. First, we need to scan the paper. Optical scanning is required, and we do segmentation, pre-processing, feature extraction, and then recognition and the post-processing. So here, this particular topic is very much widely used these times, and so many models are already developed for the other languages. So it uses for the various domains like the education and defense and many more. So for this particular domain, optical character recognition, the OCR is already developed for the Chinese, English, Telugu, and any other languages, Indian languages also, and for the Bangla also. And you know that Bangla and the OCR is very much famous nowadays, and lots of work is already done. So we select Gujarati script, and the reason behind this, it is actually it contains 36 complex characters as well as vowels and the digits. And this particular language is quite complex compared to the Western languages because lots of modifiers, actually 13 modifiers are there. And with the combination of these modifiers, actually the script is developed. And there are also some difficulties in this. While the complex characters are present, joint characters are present, modifiers are present. Few of the examples are given here: Vinanti, Manu, Shurya, and these particular words is very much complex to recognize, specifically for the handwritten scripts. It is also difficult due to joint characters like this. Two main characters are combining and then creating one particular word. And this particular research work is also useful because as per the Census of India 2011, this Gujarati is the 7th most widely spoken language in India. And for that reason, here our workflow, first we are acquiring the images by scanning, and our focus is more towards the pre-processing part in which we are doing the binarization as well as the noise removal process. And then we are giving it as an input to the CNN model. And this is our initiative. Our team actually developed this data set. First, the grid size square paper, A4 size paper is given to the various number of students and as well as old age people. And then we are taking the character writing handwritten on the paper, and then we are scanning this document, and then we are applying the pre-processing on it. First, we are doing binarization, and this is the results I'm showing for the binarization. And then we are applying the noise removal so that we can do the segmentation properly. So after, once we receive this final A4 size scanned paper after this pre-processing, then we are using the Python language to detect the lines. First, we are doing the vertical line recognition. Then we are also applying the horizontal line segmentation. And then we are doing the box segmentation. So that this kind of individual characters that we are getting for our database. So first thing I want to let you know that for Gujarati, there is no benchmark data set available. So we need to focus more, and we are giving so much energy to develop the data set first. And for this reason, for each character, 350 individual images that we acquired, and we have prepared the data set of around 20,000 of images that contains 28 cross 28 size of images. And finally, we achieved this milestone, and then we want to go for further to recognition process. And so for that reason, we have done some literature survey in which in recent years, this number of authors are working on for OCR, character recognition purpose, in which Bangla, Tamil, and other languages are involved. So these two are giving the most highest accuracy results, and we also take and do the analysis of the CNN models architectures analysis. So they are using this type of architecture, and they also having the 33 different classes for the recognition, and the image size was 64. Second author also uses this particular architecture, and the image size was 32 cross 30. And we applied, we given our own created data set to this particular models, and this much accuracy we are getting on already developed models. So the accuracy was 56% and 47% on the Devanagari CNN and Bangla. So we think that we still need to remove the kind of problems, and we want to develop a new CNN model which will work better for the Gujarati language. And finally, by trial and error basis, we finally come to this architecture. And this particular architecture CNN model is giving 82% of the accuracy for the characters and the 86.85% of accuracy on numerals. And this particular architecture contains two convolution neural layers as well as two pooling layers. And finally, we are getting the output. So the actually conclusion is the total number of extracted images till date for the handwritten as well as the printed is 1,71,000. That is the quite good achievement from our side. And some of the characters and the numerals are trained using CNN and also trained for other developed CNN models which are exist and giving good accuracy. And so we just want to try first that how much good accuracy for our data set, newly generated data set, the other models are giving. So finally, we just tested it and we found that only 50 to 60% of accuracy we are getting. And so for that reason, we decided to develop our own model for Gujarati characters, because that is not always true that one particular model developed for particular language will always work for the other languages also. So we just need to tune it, we just need to modify it, and finally we are getting this much good accuracy for our system. And the references that we are using is this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanket, for the paper. It's really a nice paper. So I would like, when you start researching for, means if you wanted to write another paper, I think you should also write for the Braille.
Yes.
So once you're finished with this research paper, then you could have taken that research also.
Sure, sure. We are also planning to develop one application based on this one, so we can do the character recognition runtime using mobile phone and so on. So we already working on.
Congratulations, nice paper.
Thank you, ma'am.
Much. So at the end of the session, I also thank our all these authors.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity.
So I sincerely thank our all authors for their great presentation and in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of whole team, thank you for the support during this version and previous 6 version of the conference. We will be happy to have you in 8th version in 2023. All the presenter would be getting their digital certificates through the mail within 2 working days. Further, all the paper have already forwarded to the Swinger, and the publication will be live within 6 months. So kindly cooperate with the team of ICTCS 2022. I also thank our session chair for chairing the session. There is a small token of appreciation, ma'am, on behalf of ICTCS and the Global Knowledge Research Foundation.
Thank you so much, Riddhi.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's always been very nice to be a part of this ICTTS international 7th international conference it is, and it is always very it feels good to learn about some good research papers on this platform. So from my side, a big congratulations to all people for the hard work and all the contestants today. I congratulate them for their good research work. Only few things which I wanted to add on my behalf is like whenever you are writing the research paper, some points you should remember, like what hypothesis you are using, what kind of research gap. You should also talk about the research gap, like what evidence, knowledge, practical or empirical gap you are using, or either population gap is there, or right. So this things should also be incorporated in your research paper. So once again, congratulations to each one of you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. Yeah, thank you so much. The nice word. So at the end of the session, I would request to all please turn on the camera for the good memory of this virtual conference. Yeah. Just Adarsh, Praniti, if you can please turn on your camera. Shashank, Elena. Okay, right. So all the best for your future work and stay safe. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.